Welcome to A Simple Life. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we came up. We're gonna be working up here on the garden, but before I started working on the garden, I wanted to come and check on our goats, see how everybody's doing, check on the Reba. Oh, okay, there we go. Is this what you wanted? You wanted some pets, didn't you? Oh, she's like, it's been so lonely without my Merle. What happened to my buddy? What happened to him? Well, he's down on the other property. I know you guys talk at night because I've been told. The neighbor told me these guys bark back and forth at night and communicate. And she goes, it's very cute and it's very obvious what they're doing because they just bark back and forth. It's not incessantly, just enough. It's like, okay, they're communicating. We're gonna get down and do some work down at the other greenhouse because we are going to start prepping for our gardens for next year. It is time to start giving our greenhouse some love. What are we gonna be doing in here? Well, we are gonna remove all our water lines. We're going to get all the tomato and extra plants that we had in here that we've pulled out. We're gonna get them all out. We're gonna go through and start getting all the weeds along the edge cleared out because in the future, I'm hoping I'll be able to keep them back. There's a couple methods I'm gonna use to do that, and I'll show you that as I get closer. We're going to pull out our water lines because we have water lines in here from when we grew, as well as from the little experiment I did over here with the bed. So we're gonna pull out these water lines as well. That's the plan. While I'm cleaning, Clay is going to be running the weed whacker and he's going to be weed whacking around the edges. So Clay's ready to weed whack. He's got his weed whacker. You got your mask. Where are your gloves? You got them right there? All right. If you're wondering where Clint's at, Clint is over riding bikes with a buddy of his, and Clay came with me because he wanted to come with me. So it's just us today, right? Yeah. Take down the tall stuff right around the, right around there, and then I'll roll the plastic up and you can start going around the edges of the greenhouse. Yeah. One of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting some pipe along the base of this plastic so that way this can roll up. And we're going to be doing the same way we did it at the other greenhouse before that got torn down. And we're going to use these little plastic pieces of PVC to clamp the plastic to the pipe. I'll show you that in a minute. I just figured I'd show you these. There you go. Okay, you can see it starts and then there you go. Now it's on. Okay. And it'll just kind of hold in place. And I'll probably rotate this down a little, just directly underneath, so I'm getting nice even pressure. Okay, so when this is hanging, it's hanging like that, about like that. And then we'll put a screw at the end right in the back side of this to hold this in place. But I'm not gonna put a screw in until I have everything on and I have all the plastic hanging, just in case I need to make an adjustment. The last thing we're going to need to attach to the pipe to roll it up is a handle. You really kind of need a handle. You don't always have to use one. We found them to be very useful. It really helps fight the leverage of having all that plastic and weight and everything. So I'm going to attach this handle. It's just an L bracket for fencing plus about a foot of pipe, and it makes everything a lot easier. All right, well there you go. We got it all rolled up. All that work just to roll up plastic so we can weed whack. All right, before we start turning this over, I want to check the temperature of the pile, just to kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with temperature wise. So I know approximately what this is baking off at, you know, after being left unturned for about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. So I just an idea, I just want to know. I'm always trying to observe and see what I can learn from the processes that I've done in the past. This is the biggest pile I've ever done like this. I've done it like this before, but never at this scale. It's always been about 1/4 of this size. So, all right, so we're right around 330 or so, right around 330 degrees. All right, let's go down here. This should be the cooler side. So let's see if the cooler side is actually cooler. It's actually dropping down to about 100 degrees or so. All right, let's try the middle of the pile. See what the middle of the pile is like. This is pretty much the heart of the pile right here. It should be probably halfway between the two. I'm gonna say 115, 120, somewhere in there. Just because it's halfway between the cool side and the hot side. Once again, I've done this on small scale and didn't even bother to take the temperature because I knew how hot it was. It was just, I knew it was really hot. But in this case, we're just working through this process. All right, well, let's get this flipped over and then we'll go down and work on the greenhouse. Well, if that pile doesn't itch your compost needs, I don't know what will. I'm going to tell you that right now. This pile looks so stinking good. This is getting really close to being just really well broken down compost. I mean, it's light, it's fluffy, it's not quite soily, it's not quite at the soil level yet, but it is getting really close. It is getting really, I mean, you can still see a little bit of, it almost looks like tobacco. You can still see a little bit of wood chips in there, but it is really doing good. And then you come down here and you can see the fresher stuff and you can tell that there's still some hay. There's still some bits in here that you can see that are like hay bits. You can see a little bit more wood chippy. You can see the progress from fresh to older. And by the time we get into February, March, a lot of this is going to be ready to go. It'll be really ready to go, especially the way that we're turning it over, actively working it. It's going to compost down really quickly. This stuff we're going to leave out. You can see the steam just coming off of it. I mean, you can just see the steam rolling off of it. We're going to leave this out like this for probably 4 or 5 days. We're not supposed to get a lot of rain. So that'll help it breathe. The inside will get nice and warm and start breaking down. And then when we start seeing some more rains come through, I'll probably let it get a day or so of rain. And then I'm going to tarp it and let that moisture seep in and let everything continue to bake off for another week or so before I turn it over. I would much rather have a more active roll in, turning a pile, especially this big, because I feel like when you get in the middle, you could see that as you get in the middle, it really dries out. It gets really hot and dry. And if it's hot and dry, it's not gonna compost. You need that moisture level. So I probably waited about a week or so too long, especially in the middle where it really got hot and dry. That hot and dry is not doing anything for me. Once there's no moisture content there, it's not composting anymore. So I may actually need to turn this once a week. Maybe this is a once a week type of thing where I come out and once a week I just push the pile one way and push it the other way. All right, well, let's go see Reba. She's staring at me like a poor jilted lover. She's over here just looking at me like, Dad, I see you over there. Are you gonna come pet me? So the boys are currently loading up apples for the pigs because we are finishing our pigs with apples like I talked about the other day. But let's go see Reba, see our goats, see how everybody's looking, get eyes on them, make sure they're still healthy. Hi, Reba. Hi. How are you, baby? Hi. I can't touch this fence and I can't hop. Well, I might be able to hop this fence without getting shocked. I don't think I can, but let's give it a try. Give it the old. Oh, I did it. Okay. Oh, hi. How are you, baby? Hi. Get your boogies out of your eyes. How you doing? Okay. Okay. You keeping my goats safe? Yes, you are. You're oh, you got your winter coat in, I see. Yeah. Oh, and you're happy. Yes, you are happy. Oh, you are happy. You are a very happy girl. Yes, we're not jumping. No jumping. Hey, Bucks. How are you guys doing? You guys are doing good. Nibbling. Everybody looks full. I'm not looking at him as much as I'm looking at these little ones. And the reason why I'm not looking at him as much is he's like 7 years old at this point. And he doesn't get quite as meaty as he used to. And I'm not saying he's old or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm not seeing him beef up the way I've seen him in the past. I look at the younger animals a little bit closer than I do the older ones. And the reason for that is they are gonna show basically a lack of shape. They're gonna look rougher a lot sooner than the big bucks like him because he has a thick coat. And so it's gonna be hard to kind of see through that big thick coat, you know, whether or not he's doing good. But the younger animals, they don't quite have the same coat. They don't hide mass as well, and so it's a lot easier to look at them and be like, oh, you guys look healthy, your stomachs look full, you look like you have good weight on. All right, well, the goats look good. Everybody looks like they're grazing well. We still have plenty of good forage both on the ground and up there, kind of 3-4 feet off the ground. In this pasture, I'm looking more at the ground cover than I am looking at the stuff up top, because I've had goats in here a lot. And so my ground cover is gonna look much different than an area that hasn't had goats in it. And let me show you what I mean. Is right here. See, I got a lot of blackberry bramble that is just growing right on the ground because the tall stuff has all been eaten down over time. As well as I have a lot of tall grasses. So that's what I'm looking for in here. I'm looking at just what's being eaten. The grasses are being eaten, the goats are grazing on those. Now these are taller grasses, they're a little bit leafier, but I'm not as worried about not seeing a lot of feed, you know, 2-3 feet off the ground over here where the goats have already eaten it, because I'm seeing a lot of coverage still on the ground like over here. So, all right, well, we're gonna get down and work on that garden. We have been getting all kinds of stuff done, but not the garden. So let's go work on that greenhouse right now. I had a concern about my garlic the other day because I didn't shred the leaves that I put down on top of it. And so I talked to Herman. I said, Herman, I'm a little concerned about the leaves. Should I take them off and shred them, put them through my wood chipper, shred them, and put them back down? I went back and I asked him again. He goes, no. It'll be fine. We're gonna try it. I did some research. People talk about the leaves should be shredded. Now, we're not using big maple leaves. These are mostly like an oak leaf. A mix of oak leaves, and there's some apple and prune and stuff like that. But for the most part, these aren't huge leaves to begin with. But I wanted to talk to Herman and run it by him and see if he had any concerns. Now, Herman doesn't have a whole lot of concerns about things. He's, you know, I guess when you're 92, you can kind of just enjoy life however you want to, and that's pretty much what he does. But I did want to talk about that because it was something I was actually worried about. I actually was worried about it. We were ready to actually go get the wood chipper right now and bring it down. We were going to run a bunch of leaves through the wood chipper and then just put that chipped up, you know, shredded leaves on top. And I was given the "you're thinking too much about it" look from Herman. So we're not going to do it. I'm going to trust Herman because he's been farming and growing stuff literally his whole entire life. And if Herman says don't worry about it, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so we're going to get everything pulled out today, get the last of whatever plants are in here. We're going to weed whack, go around the edges, probably use a hoe on any of the stuff that we need to do just to get it disturbed. Then we're going to rake up any of the dry, dead stuff. And once we're done with all that, we'll come in, we'll do a quick light tilling, and then we're gonna plant our cats, because our cats seem to go everywhere with us. Those little cats, I don't know if you saw them in that garlic video when I was trying to plant the garlic. That one cat would not stop jumping in there and trying to play with me and the garlic. All right, let's start getting to work, boys. There's something about old tools that in many cases just have everything built into them that you need. And it seems like over the years our tools have gotten, they're cheaper and cheaper imitations of what used to be used and last for a really long time. So let me show you what I mean. This hoe, it's got the perfect angle, okay? It's got the perfect blade width, it's got a nice weight and everything. Now I did break the handle because it's probably been sitting out in the rain for a long time. Let me show you it compared to what Clint's using, because Clint's using more of a modern, now it is a cheaper hoe. I have a nicer hoe, I can't find it. I think I actually took it down to the house to mix concrete with it, but I'll show you. So this is what Clint's been using, but it doesn't have any weight at the front of it. There's no weight there, and so it takes even more muscles, more energy to dig up something, where this has a little bit of weight. You get that going behind it, and also the angle's just perfect on this hoe. To be honest, some of these old tools, for example, like the hoe I've been talking about, they just hold up and they're just ergonomically engineered and designed for perfection. And then you have the more modern stuff, which is just an imitation of the older stuff, and it's missing all the reasons why it's functional. Just my thoughts on it. But here's what we got. I think we have a really good result, and we didn't even till. Now, I still may come through with the Kubota tiller, because the Kubota tiller is a little bit more of a finished tiller. You'll see, it just does a different job than the Yanmar. They just run differently, they till differently. It's really strange how two different tillers can till and give you totally different results. So I think we may come through here just one quick pass, really super light, just to help kind of even out the surfaces, get all the clods on that side broken up. Overall, the whole garden is turning out really good. We're really happy with it. The boys have done a great job. Thank you, boys, for your help. Clint's getting the weeds right along the edge. Clay's gonna finish doing one last pass down the middle with the rake, just to get the majority of the dry stuff out. Just so that it's not in here and it ends up looking nice, because when I come through with the tiller, we're just gonna probably do one, like I said, one just really surface pass, and that's just basically to level everything, not really to till. And so because of that, I like to have as much of the junk out as I can. We're gonna come in and we're gonna start putting our beds in, but before we put our beds in, we have a little bit more work to do. And so I want to have the ground as level as I can for the rest of the work, because once this other work is done, we're not coming back in here with the tractor anytime soon, like probably for years.